Good morning,
All
ma'am.
right. Good morning. So, you can put off your microphone, put on your camera. So, what we are going to do today is a case study. So, what is this case study all about? Why do we do a case study? You've already seen it's a part of your syllabus. But why do we do a case study? Now, case study is very important for you. Case studies actually tells you or allow you to learn about the real life problems in our economy. And as we are studying economics in our textbook, we learn about various concepts. And how do we apply these concepts in the real life scenario? That is all, that is what we do it in a case study. But remember one thing, case study, it will almost look like a comprehension. You will have an extract, you will have some questions below that. But the answers of these questions you will not find it in the extract. The extract is telling you about the situation, it's giving you a hint about the answers what you have to write, but exactly the answers you will not find in the extract. So where do you get your answers from? The answers you will get from your text, the material which you are studying for your examination. So whatever is there in your book, the answers are directly from there. But this extract is just helping you to guide you that what could be the answer for this question. So the case study is based on the chapter consumer awareness. We've already done this chapter earlier. So as we move forward with this case study, I'm going to revise this chapter as well. We'll use the PPT which I've already uploaded yesterday for you, the PPT lesson 11. Along with that, I'm going to use lesson 5 and 6 as well. So which was the based on the chapter consumer awareness. So as we go on answering the question, I'm going to revise all the concepts of the chapter consumer awareness because it's very much part of your syllabus and you need to learn it properly. So I'm going to share my screen and present the PPT to you. We'll start off with the case study. I hope you can see everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I'll start with case study 1. I'm going to read the case study for you. So in August 2015, K2 of Mananthavadi in Wayanad district lodged a complaint with the district consumer court against beauty product manufacturers Indulekha and its brand ambassador actor Mammootty. Chatu had told the court that the soap tagline parroted by Mammootty, Sundarayam Ningale Pedi Vedam, which means beauty will come in search of you, was misleading as he never became beautiful or fair. So this is an extract which has been taken from a newspaper article, so which is a real life scenario. Now we'll move to the question which follows and we'll try to answer them. Okay. The first question says, explain the way in which the consumer has been exploited in the above case. Can anyone tell me the way in which the consumer is exploited here?
Ma'am,
Ma'am,
misleading
representation of the
representation of the
usefulness of the
usefulness
product.
of product.
Yes, very good, Sahil. Very good, Sonar. It is the misleading information regarding the usefulness of the product. So what is happening here? The product, they are trying to say that the product will make you beautiful, make you fair. But we all know that, your skin color is something which is genetic. It's not possible for a soap bar or a lotion or a cream to change your skin color. So it's just fooling, it's misleading you about usefulness of the product. Alright. So the next question says, discuss any other ways in which the consumer is exploited. So anyone, Bhavya, can you tell me any other three
Yes,
ways
ma'am.
in which the consumer is exploited? Yes, Bhavya?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, first is false representation regarding the quality or standard of a product. Then false representation like presenting the old and second-hand products in place of new brand products, and selling a product after its expiry date.
Very good. So these are the other three ways in which the consumer can be exploited. All right. So now we'll go back to our old PPT, the lesson 5, and we'll discuss all the other ways in which the consumer is exploited. Okay, we'll revise it once again. So I'll open our old PPT. I hope you can see the PPT, everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll start from this, the ways in which a consumer is exploited. So Bhavya has already talked about all these points. I'll quickly explain it briefly. The first one is false representation regarding the quality or standard of a product. So we know often the sellers try to claim that their product is a very superior quality, it is a very high standard, but actually it might not be the true scenario. The next, cheating the consumer by falsely representing old or second-hand good as a new good. So this happens mostly for the automobile sector, the car market. What they do, repaint the cars, they change the parts, and then they try to sell the old car as a new one so that they can, get higher amount of price, and they cheat the consumer this way. This can happen for any other products as well. Third, false representation regarding the sponsorship, affiliation of the seller. So here what happens, at times the sellers say that they are affiliated to some renowned concern. It actually might not be true. And it is very important for a product or a company to be affiliated. So they might show a false representation of their sponsorship or affiliation. The next one, misleading representation of the usefulness of the product. That we have already discussed. This was the first question. They try to portray that the product is useful. They are going to do a particular thing, but actually they do not do. We have another example here, Horlicks, which tries to say that if you consume this health drink, it will make you taller, stronger, and sharp. But however, again, we know, our height and everything is again genetics. It's not possible for a health drink to increase our height at least. It can make you strong to some extent. Sharper again, I don't think so, but taller definitely not. The next one, cheating the consumer with respect of weights or quantity of the product. We often find, actually, in the vegetable market, the weighing scale that they use are quite defective. And whatever amount you ask for, they provide you lesser quantity, but they charge a high price. So this is how the traders cheat you, exploit the consumer. The next one, creating false impression regarding the own product and disparaging the product of the competitor. So this again is very common in the advertisements. You will see in a lot of advertisements, they try to show that their product is a superior product over the competitor product. There is a tough competition between them. You'll often see between Complan and Horlicks. At times in the advertisement, Horlicks try to show that Complan is inferior to Horlicks and vice versa. Next, selling product after its expiry date. If you are ignorant and illiterate, the traders will take advantage of the situation and may sell you a product which is already expired. So we have to be really, really careful when we are buying the product, because we need to check the expiry date. The last one again, selling a product at a higher price than the MRP. So again, when you're purchasing a product, have to check the MRP, the marked price. We should not pay more than what is marked, the price which is mentioned in the packaging. It's very, very important for us to check the product before we actually buy the goods. All right. So far, any problem, any doubt, anyone? Is it all right?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now we go to the next question, which is there in our case study. Okay. Third question is, identify whether K. Chatu is an active or a passive consumer, and give reason for your answer. Gauravi, can you tell me whether this K. Chatu is an active or a passive consumer?
Ma'am, active.
Very good. He's an active consumer. And why do you think he's an active consumer? Can you give the
Ma'am,
reason?
because he took the reasons and went to court to get justice because the product didn't give what the tagline said.
Exactly. So he knows about his rights and obligations. He knows that he can go to the seller and ask for compensation. So the tagline was misleading and he was not satisfied with the product. So he can go there. So we can quickly discuss about the other traits of an active consumer. So if a consumer is active, what he will do when he's going in the market, he will demand for a proper bill when he's purchasing a product. It's very important to take a bill. Why? Otherwise, the seller might not give the tax for the product that you're purchasing. So it's very, very important to demand for a proper bill. And it also becomes easy for you to exchange the product if there is, any defect in the product. So bill is very important. Along with that, you need to know about your rights and obligations. You need to know the rights you can enjoy, where to go, what are the legal provisions you have as a consumer. So if you are, if you have been deceived by any trader, where you can go and what you can do, and the laws and rules and regulation of it. Next, he needs to see the warranty card and the warranty period of the product. All right. So how long you have the warranty for this product, whether it is properly stamped or not. So you need to see all this. Also, you need to be more alert about the quantity, quality of the product that you are buying. So whether you're getting the actual quantity or not, what you have asked for, you need to be very alert. So these are some of the traits of the active consumer. Now, can anyone tell me the traits of the passive consumer? We know what is a passive consumer is. Passive consumer is just the opposite of the active consumer. So their behavior would be also just the opposite of passive consumer.
Ma'am,
So
can I tell,
anyone?
ma'am?
Yes, Pankaj, tell me.
Ma'am, basically the passive consumers do not protest if they are dissatisfied with the product or they feel that they have been exploited. They just manage with the product and they try to ignore that thing, and they do, and before buying any product or purchasing it, they do not check the quality or the quantity and the expiry date. They don't check.
Yes,
And
very
ma'am,
good. Yes,
and
continue,
ma'am,
Pankaj.
and ma'am, and they also don't put any pressure upon the government, ma'am, to take legal steps against any unfair trade or any unfair practice done by any company, a product oriented company, or etc.
Very good. So he has already told you about the traits of a passive consumer. So he is not going to protest about the product, if any defective product is being sold to him. He's not going to, he's not aware of the legal provisions. He's not alert about the quantity, quality, or the price of the product purchasing. So Sankalp has already explained all the traits of a passive consumer. So now we'll move to the next question, which is there in the case study 1. All right. The last question explains importance of educating the consumer of their rights. So it's very important for the consumer to be educated. Why do you think so?
Ma'am, Ganesha,
Yes, Suna, tell me.
it helps the consumer to raise their voice against the exploitations.
Yes, very good.
It helps them to become aware of the legal provisions.
Yes.
Then it also helps them to transform from a passive consumers to active consumers.
Okay, very good. So these are 3 of the ways in which, why it is necessary for a consumer to be educated. So it's very, very important for a consumer to be educated. It makes them more alert about the quantity and the, quality of the product and the price of the product which buying. He'll be aware of the legal provisions that he can enjoy as a consumer. He knows where to go for any redressal, the court, consumer court knows, so he's aware of that. And he also has, enough courage to voice against the unfair trade practices of the businessmen. So it is essential for the consumer to be educated. All right. This was our first case study. I hope it is clear for you how to answer the case study. As you can see, all the questions were related to the concepts that you've already studied in the chapter. So the answers is not something that you have to, you get it from outside or anywhere. It's based on every concept that you have studied from the chapter. So this is about our first case study. Anyone has any doubt regarding the case study 1?
No.
All right, very good. Move to the
No,
case
ma'am.
study 2 now. So I'll read the case study 2 for you. So it has been reported by the Indian Daily, the Indian Express, that popular soap manufacturer Reckitt Benckiser Private Limited, which owns the brand Dettol, amidst the coronavirus outbreak, broadcasted an advertisement which indicated that washing hands with soap cakes was an inefficient means to fight disease, causing germs, while the hand wash of better protection. In the legal proceedings initiated by the competitor Hindustan Unilever Limited, manufacturing soaps and related products under the brand name Lifebuoy before the High Court of Bombay, it was contended by the HUL that impugned advertisement advocated false claims and was in contravention to the guidelines issued by the World Health Organization, which recommends the use of soap and water as an effective way to protect oneself from the viral contact. In view of the above, a faucet advertisement is no longer being broadcasted by Reckitt Benckiser Private Limited. Okay. So now we move to the question. Again, this article has been taken from a paper article. So we'll move to the first question. Explain the unfair trade practice adopted by Reckitt Benckiser Private Limited. Can you tell me?
False representation regarding the usefulness of the product. Again,
All right, it could be false representation. Anyone else differ? You think it's the answer?
Ma'am,
Yes, Harshita, tell me.
it can also be that they were creating a false impression regarding their own products and disparaging the product of the other companies.
Yes, this is more accurate. They are trying to portray that their product is more superior while the competitor product is inferior. The soap cakes produced by the companies, they are not efficient enough to, clean all the germs, to remove all the germs. So this is, again, this actually creating a false impression regarding their own product by disparaging the product of the other competitor. So this is very good, Harshita. So now we move to the next question. Okay. Mention any 2 reasons for exploitation of the consumer in the market.
Ma'am, can I?
Yes, Bhavya, tell me the reasons for exploitation in the market.
First is illiteracy and ignorance.
Yes.
And then it is typical submissive behavior.
Yes. All right. So yes, very good, Bhavya. So ignorance and illiteracy is a very big problem. We know there are various people in the rural areas who are illiterate. So the traders take advantage of the situation and they, exploit the consumer. So you have to be very alert when you are purchasing anything. All right. So I'll move again to the old PPT and I'll explain all the other reasons for consumer exploitation. Just let me know when you can see the PPT. Can you all see the PPT, the reasons for exploitation of consumers?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the first one has been already in illiteracy and ignorance. We know that majority of our consumers are illiterate and ignorant. They are not careful when they are buying the product. And that is the reason why they are being exploited. Next, typical submissive attitude. This quite happens. If you have received a product which is defective, you consider it to be your ill fate. You don't go back to the seller and claim for compensation. So this happens in majority of the case. Next, unorganized consumers. So in India, the consumers are widely dispersed. So it is difficult for them to raise voice against the unfair trade practices adopted by the traders. This is advertisement. Often you will see the advertisements are so very colorful. They show that the product is of very good quality, high standard. But in reality, when you receive the product, it is of no, there is a lot of difference between what has been advertised and what is the actual product you get. Something like this, the burger which is advertised, it's so very colorful, but in reality, you get something, which is very drab like this. The next one, malpractices of the businessman. So the businessman can, adopt various unethical measures, monopolistic and restrictive trade practices, which again leads to exploitation. Next, increasing flow of spurious goods. Spurious goods mean fake goods. So in the market, there is huge inflow of fake goods. And ordinary consumers like us, it would be very difficult for us to actually distinguish between a genuine and a duplicate product. For me as well, it would be very difficult to actually differentiate between an Adidas, which is a real one, and a fake one. So it is very obvious people would be exploited. Next, poor governance. This is very, very important. The government authorities also fail to take proper steps to increase consumer awareness. Even when the business houses are engaged in unfair and restrictive trade practices, government often takes a long time to take legal steps against such practices. So these are some of the reasons why the consumers are exploited in the marketplace. Anyone, any confusion regarding this reasons or any doubt anywhere here? Okay, very good. So we'll move forward to our case study again. We'll go back to the case study and we'll see what is the next question we have. Okay. Explain any two rights enjoyed by the consumer. So here they have only asked you to explain two rights. But can you tell me how many rights a consumer can actually enjoy? What are the rights? You can just name them at least.
Ma'am, right to be heard, right to be informed, right to safety, right to seek redressal, right to consumer education, and
Ma'am, total 5 rights are there, ma'am.
6 rights are there. Six rights are there.
Okay.
Yes. All right, well, you were correct. You've already mentioned many of the rights. Again, I'll quickly explain the rights. Rights are very, very important. You need to know about it, not only as a student, but also as a consumer, young consumer. Because you too consume a lot of products. Even your parents influence. I'm sure, most of the times when your parents are going in the market, they ask you, what is your opinion about a particular product? So you yourself have to be very alert about all this rights. So I'll quickly explain each of the rights to you. The first one is right safety. So now what does right to safety mean? Right to safety ensures that the consumer is safeguarded or protected against the marketing of those products which are hazardous to health and property. There are certain goods which require certain safety measures when you're using it. For example, when you're using a pressure cooker or any medicine for that matter, you will see that behind the product, the precautions are written. All right? Like, at times they are written, you should not, keep it away from the children. If you find a medicine or anything or, some ointment kind of a thing, you will see that all these measures are written. Even for a pressure cooker, it is very important to use it with the safety valve. Otherwise, there can be a possibility of accident. So we have to be really, really careful when we are purchasing the product. We have to check whether it is a quality product. And I'm sure you know about it. There are certain certificate schemes, which assures the quality of the product, like the ISI mark or the hallmark, which is provided behind the gold jewelry. So it assures you of the product that it's a good quality. I can just show you an example. I have a packet here. Can you see this mark FSSI? This you will be able to find it in all the food products. All right, this FSSI stands for Food Security and Standard Authority of India, which actually tells you that this product is a good quality. This is an autonomous body established by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. So what they try to do, they try to promote and protect public health by supervising and regulation of food safety. They ensure that the food that we are consuming are safe. So all this AG mark, this ISI mark, it actually helps to see whether the product is a quality assured product or not. So this was the first right to safety. The next is right to information. Again, this is very, very important. All consumers should have this right. Every consumer should be informed about the price, the quantity, the quality, the ingredient list, the batch number, manufacturing date, the expiry date of the product when you're purchasing it. Again, I'll try and show you a product. I hope you can see this. See, here the manufacturing date and expiry date of the product is mentioned. So it is necessary for all sellers to write all these details in the packaging of the product. You will also find the ingredient list of the product here. Again, it's very, very important that they mention about the ingredients. You could be alert to a particular ingredient which is there in that product, and you need to know the ingredients. So when you're buying the product, please, other than checking the manufacturing date and the price, also check the ingredient list. That is also very, very important. Next, this was the second right. The third right is right to be heard. So whenever you are being, deceived or exploited, you have the right to raise your voice against that trader. Your interest would be taken due consideration in the appropriate forum. So you can raise your voice against the unfair trade practices. This was our third right. The fourth one is right to choose. So this is again very, very important. All consumers have the right to choose among the various commodities and services which are provided in the market. So you can buy whatever you want. No one can actually force you to purchase a particular product. No trader can manipulate you to purchase a particular product. If you want to buy a particular product, you are free to do that. So it is a very important right enjoyed by the consumer. Next, right to seek redressal. So here what happens, again, if you suffer from any loss or injury by consuming a particular product, you can seek redressal. You can complain against that trader in the consumer court, and you can claim for compensation. So this is also very, very important. The next and the last right is right to be educated. So all the consumers has the right to be educated, to be informed about the product, about their rights and obligations, about the various important legal measures which they can adopt and be a knowledgeable and informed consumer. So these are the 6 rights of a consumer. Is this all right for you? You understand all the rights? Sahil,
Yes,
Kushagra,
ma'am.
Advika,
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Om.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so these are the 6 important rights which all the consumer enjoys. Okay, so now we'll go to the next question which is there in our case study. Okay, discuss the various legal measures for the protection of consumer rights undertaken by the government of India. So do you remember the legal measures for the protection
Yes,
of
ma'am.
Yes,
consumer
ma'am. Can I
rights?
answer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Bob, answer. Or Om, you want to answer? Bhavya has already answered.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Om, you can try. Bhavya has already answered quite a number of questions.
Ma'am, government regulations,
Okay.
consumers association, business self-regulation, and consumer self-help.
Okay, very good. So there are four legal measures. I'll quickly explain the measure to you. The first one is business regulation. So what is this business regulation? The business community themselves can protect the consumer from being exploited through self-discipline. So what they can do, they can ensure that they do not adopt any unfair trade practices. Also, there is trade association and chamber of commerce. These are two associations who actually check whether the manufacturers are adopting any unfair trade practices or not. So this is very, very important. Next, consumer self-help. What is consumer self-help? Again, you as a consumer, when you are purchasing any particular product, you have to be really, really alert. If you are alert, the traders would not be able to exploit you. It's very, very important for the consumers to be alert themselves. They need to check the expiry date. They need to check the product before they are buying it. Third one, consumers association. What do you mean by consumer association? The consumer can form a voluntary group or an association so that, they can raise their voice against the traders, unfair traders in an organized manner. So it would be difficult for traders to exploit the consumer then if they are together. The last one, government regulation, which is very, very important. Government also needs to take some legal or judicial steps against this unfair trade practices or these manufacturers. And these laws have to be enforced efficiently. So these are the four legal ways through which, you can redress. These are the legal measures to protect the consumer. So more or less, we are done with this case study. Anyone has any doubt here in any of the questions, want to know how much to write? Now, when you're writing the answers, please be careful of the marks. So if it's a 6-mark question, like for the last question you have, there are 4 points, while there is 6 marks for this. So each one of it, you just mention, you will not get the full mark. So you will have to explain each point. So 1.5 for each point. So you have to explain a bit. All right. So you will write answers according to the marks which is given there. All right. So anyone, any doubt in this consumer awareness chapter or
No,
the
ma'am.
case study?
No, ma'am.
All right, very good. So we'll end the class. Before we leave, I want to tell you that the assignment has been created for you. So you are going to write the answers of the case study and upload your answers in the assignment. It is very important for you to practice the case study. A major part of your portion, you will get a lot of questions from this part, and I want to see whether you are doing it properly or not. So thank you everyone. If you have any doubt, you can stay back, and otherwise we'll end the class now.